From the Apopco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. Press Row is brought to you by Cox High-Speed Internet. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Tramel, and it's time for our weekly We Pick 'em segment. 5 college football games. We tell you who we've picked. You can go on our You Pick 'em on the website and pick your own games. But let's start with this game, Louisville at West Virginia. Barry, yeah, it's not a game around here, but this could be a Big 12 matchup in a couple years. Who you got?
It's the Big 12 game of the week, in my opinion, for crying out loud. I'm actually taking Louisville. This is turned into a little bit of a bad blood game. West Virginia and Louisville, through the great Big 12 political process, pitted these two schools against each other last week for who gets the invite to the Big 12. West Virginia won it. Louisville's got their blood boiled. I think Louisville's playing better under Charlie Strong. West Virginia a little shaky. I think Louisville in the upset.
Well, I'm picking West Virginia, but I tell you what, this is a difficult game to pick just because West Virginia has been so all over the place under Dana Holgorsen this year. I mean, they lose to Syracuse a couple weeks ago, for goodness sakes. Not a good performance at all. It really looked like they kind of gave up in the end. So I could definitely see Louisville winning, but I'm picking West Virginia, this one being in Morgantown. I like the Mountaineers. All right, let's go to what's the game of the week in the country. This big SEC matchup, Barry. LSU at Alabama. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the home squad. I'm going to go with Alabama. I think both teams are great. Both teams are elite. Both teams will play well. But I think Bama will be tough to beat in Tuscaloosa. Even though, oddly enough, over the years in this series, the road team has actually won more than the home team in recent years. But under Nick Saban and Les Miles, I think people have started to protect that home field advantage. I think it's going to be Alabama in a classic.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fantastic game on Saturday night. Too bad we've got an in-state game that goes at the same time. I'm picking LSU, though, in the upset, or at least what most people would say is the upset, going to Alabama and winning. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. Maybe this is wishful thinking on my part. I would really like to see a Les Miles coach team potentially have a chance to play for a national championship against a team from our state. So I'm picking it because of that. But I think this is going to be a heck of a game. Probably come down to a possession, be within a touchdown at the end. Just a fantastic matchup in Tuscaloosa. All right, let's go to some Big 12 games. Let's start with this one. Missouri goes to Baylor. Barry, this is a game that could have been, a matchup of some pretty highly ranked teams, and yet teams sort of going the other way. Who you got in this one?
Well, who knows how to figure out Missouri? They played well at times, played poorly at times. Coming off the nice overtime win at A&M, Baylor's coming off the throttling at Stillwater. But I'm going to pick Baylor. I think Robert Griffin still has some magic. I think he's not likely to turn the ball over the way he did against OSU. I think Missouri will run up and down the field and score on Baylor, but I think Baylor will too. I'm picking the Bears.
Well, I'm going with Missouri in the road win here. I'm picking the Tigers, and here's what I thought. I looked at these offenses, and while Robert Griffin, really good quarterback, you look at Missouri and what they bring offensively. Henry Josie, their running back, and their quarterback, a guy who is developing. But I looked at the defenses and said, who's got the better defense? And after seeing Baylor's defense in person last week, Barry, against OSU, I definitely think Missouri's got the better defense. Baylor's defense, not very good at all. I think the Tigers are going to score some points on them. I pick Missouri in this one. All right, let's finish up with the 2 games involving the in-state teams. First one, Texas A&M at OU. Barry, who you got?
Well, I'm picking the Sooners, but this is an interesting game for this reason. Until that Tech game 2 weeks ago, the most solid pick in America is Oklahoma at Owen Field. You didn't have to worry about the Sooners winning. You didn't have to worry about the Sooners playing well against good teams. All of a sudden, now we do. Will this Sooner team regain its home mystique? Will it regain its mojo at Owen Field? I think the answer is yes, but until we see it, it's going to be interesting. I'll pick the Sooners.
Yeah, I'm picking the Sooners as well. And it's as much because Texas A&M just doesn't seem to have that closing ability in games. They've melted down so many times in the second half. Even if they get out to a lead, you have to wonder if that's always going to be in the back of their heads, that they have yet to really be able to finish out games in the second half. So I'm going with the Sooners, but I think this is probably going to be maybe tighter than some Oklahoma fans would like to see. I think they'd like to see a blowout, and I'm not so sure this is going to be an easy victory for the Sooners. All right, lastly, the game up in Stillwater, Kansas State at OSU. Barry, who you got?
Well, I'm going to pick OSU, and I'm going to pick them big. I saw Kansas State try to guard Oklahoma's passing game, and Kansas State just really had no answer. OSU's passing game is the equal of the Sooners. I see no way K-State can slow them down. I think Brandon Whedon's going to put up a lot of yards, a lot of points. K-State will move the ball on Oklahoma State. Kansas State will score some. No way can they score enough to keep up with the Cowboys. Cowboys big.
Yeah, I agree. I think OSU wins pretty easily in this one. It's just a speed, it's a matchup thing. You know, Oklahoma State's offense has got so many athletes, so many great skill players. I just think they're going to throw those guys at the Wildcats and they're not going to have anything to say about it. K-State will try to control this game on the ground. That's their style, that's their offense. But look at some of the games that Oklahoma State has won easiest, and they actually have lost the time of possession battle by a mile. And I think K-State will probably have the ball maybe twice or three times as long as OSU does on Saturday. I still think OSU wins really easily in this game. It's a bad matchup for the Wildcats, and the Cowboys will take advantage. Thanks for joining us this week on the We Pick'em segment, and be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.